here. Now build up, build up, build up!
This is an afternoon practice session for the Tennessee High School Band. It was hot and tiring on that August afternoon, but this extra work is what's required in order to build a quality music program. This is the first year that David Simones has been director of the band.
We just got us our own practice field, so we're able to practice earlier in the day and let the kids release around 5 o'clock and 5:30. So they really have the whole night, you know, to themselves after about 5:30. And then we only do main after-school practice 2 days a week, but then again the color guard and percussion come in for an extra day in those. So they either have 2 or 3 days off a week, just depending on what section they're in. And but we have really tried this year to make sure that, you know, the students are home, you know, and leaving by about 5 or 5:30.
In case you didn't catch that, he said,
we're able to practice earlier in the day and let the kids release around 5 o'clock and 5:30.
Most kids are home by 3. In this age of personal gadgets and video games, it has to be a challenge to get this kind of dedication.
I think it gets a little bit harder each year. But we have to be good motivators, and we have to really talk about goals. And not only that, but we have to set goals and we have to accomplish them so the kids see that we are making progress.
Mr. Simones was in the band here at THS. In fact, he was a drum major both here and at ETSU, where he attended college. That experience gave him an insight that has not only steered the way that he directs the band during practice, but has managed to have him published in a national magazine.
I have been wanting to submit an article to the National Band Directors Journal called The Instrumentalist, and it's received by, I would say, 95% of all the band directors in the country. And so I submitted an article in April, and it was published in August, and it was about using drum majors for their maximum efficiency. And the title is called Making the Most of Drum Majors. I was very humbled at the fact that they used my article, but I just felt like it was something that I had never really seen before and needed to be addressed, you know, with band directors who weren't used to working with drum majors before.
Computers have changed our lives in so many ways, but it's really changed music, especially when it comes to the ease in which a person can learn to play music. But that's not true for learning to play a band instrument. It still takes a great deal of dedication, and it takes literally years of practice before a lot of students just get to the point of sounding good when they play a song. A student has to build their lip, they need to gain the muscle control in their fingers, and they need to learn the language of reading and writing music. None of that is easy.
It is kind of a challenge, just because it's sort of like instant gratification. They can't achieve that with band. I mean, they have to start in year 1, and they don't see a whole lot of progress in the first year, or even sometimes 2 years. But if they stick with it, then obviously they start seeing those, you know, that progress and those goals getting accomplished. So it is a little bit hard because you can't just, you know, Google how to play a musical instrument. I mean, you could, but you know, obviously the instruction is not there. But we try to also think of new and inventive ways to actually use technology and incorporate it into our program. There's a program called Smart Music right now, and actually the students can log on to a program, and it is also internet-based. They can pull a whole bunch of excerpts from different pieces of music, or even from their band books that we're currently using, and they can play along with it, or it will record them and give them feedback on how they're playing. So that's another way that we can kind of have an outside resource to where we're not having to listen to all the kids, you know, all the time, and a great way to incorporate technology into our program. And there's also a lot of really great iPad apps and just, you know, mobile phone apps that we can use too, and we try to incorporate as well.
It takes a lot of time, and the chances of any of these kids becoming a famous musician are pretty slim. So why do this?
They learned valuable life lessons, such as maybe you don't have a title, but you can still be a leader. They learn the value of hard work and accomplishing goals, not only as an individual, but as a team. They learn to work well with others. They learn to give more of themselves than what they're used to giving. I talk to them a lot about sacrificing. I talk to them about how much I sacrifice for them and how much they need to sacrifice for each other. So they learn a lot of really valuable life lessons. With auditions, they have to do auditions, and that helps with interviews later in life, job interviews. So there's really, I honestly think that there's really nothing that band doesn't cover, while you're in it, as far as can this help you with life? Yes, it can. It can even help you with mathematics. It can help you with science. It is really all inclusive.
And of course, the band's not just about playing for football games.
Well, we have two main seasons. We have a fall season, which includes football, and then kind of included in that as well is kind of the winter season where we do a lot of parades. So we do marching band parades in the fall, and then in the spring we do concert band. And we kind of have a transition period in the winter where we start our concert band and we actually have a winter concert, and then we actually have some competitive concert band going on too, because we always go to what's called Concert Festival, and so we do that in around March, and then we have a spring concert in May. And in addition to just having main concerts and going to football games, we also have small ensembles, like we might have a saxophone quartet, we have a percussion ensemble, we have a winter guard. So we are quite busy throughout the entire year.
For more information about the Tennessee High School Band, go to www.themightyvikingband.com.